the inspiring history of Saint Patrick, the saint who turned a nation. Have you heard of Saint Patrick, the man who, with courage and unshakable faith, took the message of Christianity to an entire nation? Saint Patrick is not just a historical figure, it is a powerful example of how faith can change lives and transform entire societies. His journey is full of challenges, miracles, and an impressive determination that, to this day, continues to inspire millions of people around the world. Get ready for a story full of surprises, exciting moments, and life lessons. You will find out how a young slave has become the patron saint of an entire country, facing unimaginable dangers and overcoming obstacles that seemed impossible. Stay with me until the end, because this story will mess with your heart and, perhaps, transform your life too. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Let's spread this message of faith and inspiration. First steps, from slave to spiritual liberator. The story of Saint Patrick begins unexpectedly. Born in Britain in the late 4th century, he was an ordinary young man without great religious claims. However, at age 16, his life was turned around. He was captured by Irish pirates and sold as a slave in Ireland, a country that did not yet know the light of Christianity. For 6 years, Patricio lived in captivity, working as sheep pastor in the cold and arid lands of Ireland. This captive period was a watershed. Alone, without any support, Patricio began to turn to God, praying fervently and finding comfort in the faith. He claimed to pray up to 100 times a day, and it was in this time of loneliness that his relationship with God was strengthened. In the midst of pain and hopelessness, Patricio found a spiritual force that would change his life forever. After 6 years, Patricio had a revealing dream. In his view, he heard God's voice saying it was time to escape and that a ship would be waiting to take him back home. Guided by faith, he fled and ran 320 kilometers until he found the ship that would take him back to his homeland. This miraculous escape was the first of many signs that its mission would be something grand. Even back to Britain, Ireland never left her mind. He had another dream in which he heard the voices of the Irish people asking him to come back and free them from spiritual darkness. This view changed the course of his life forever, as Patrick understood that his mission was not over. He went to France, where he prepared himself spiritually and studied to become a bishop. Now he was ready. Patricio returned to Ireland, no longer as a slave, but as a messenger of God, determined to spread Christianity in a land dominated by paganism. Ireland was about to undergo a transformation that would change its story forever. Are you excited to continue this amazing story? Don't miss the next chapters of this epic journey, and of course, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel and share this video. We will continue to spread this story of faith and transformation. The mission, facing Druids and paganism. Upon returning to Ireland, Saint Patrick found a gigantic challenge in front of him, a land plunged into pagan traditions, dominated by powerful Druid priests, which resisted strongly to any kind of change. Ireland was a country full of rituals and ancient beliefs, in which the Druids had a huge influence on the people and the nobility. Bringing Christianity to this land seemed impossible, but Patricio was not intimidated. With unshakable courage, he began his mission. One of the most memorable moments of his journey was during the Beltane festival, a pagan celebration where the Druid bonfires were lit to honor the gods of nature. That night, Patricio, directly challenging the religious leaders of the time, lit a Christian fire at the top of Slains Hill. This act was seen as a sacrilege, for only the Druids were allowed to light bonfires on sacred occasions. Patricio's bold gesture caught the attention of the whole country, including that of pagan King Leager. Patricio was taken to the presence of the king, where he faced a trial for the Druids. However, instead of bending or showing fear, he preached firmly about Jesus Christ and the power of the Christian faith. His confidence and faith made many of those who were present began to wonder if he had something really special. This meeting was a turning point. Although King Leager did not immediately convert, he allowed Patricio to continue preaching in his kingdom, which was a great victory. From that moment on, Saint Patrick began to gain followers, and his message of love and salvation was spreading through the villages and villages of Ireland. But Patricio did not have an easy way. The Druids often tried to silence him and even take him out of the scene. Legend has it that in one of these attempts, the Druids poisoned their drink during a ceremony. However, in making the sign of the cross on the chalice, the poison miraculously disappeared. These events only increased the belief that Patrick had a divine mission and spiritual power that could not be ignored. His miraculous deeds didn't stop there. Patricio is also credited with using the three-sheet clover to explain the Holy Trinity, God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. This simple but powerful explanation helped convert many Irish, who saw a sacred symbol of their own land in the clover. It was a brilliant way to unite Christian spiritual knowledge with local culture, facilitating the acceptance of the new faith. With his cunning, miracles, and an unbreakable determination, St. Patrick began to transform Ireland. But this is just part of its history of heroism and faith. Want to know more about the extraordinary achievements of this great saint? Continue with me on this epic journey. And of course, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel and share this video with those who need to hear this inspirational message. The conversion of Ireland, miracles and persistence. As St. Patricio traveled all over Ireland, his influence increasingly grew, and he was gradually converting much of the population. His mission, however, was not just preaching in cities. He also visited the most isolated rural areas and tribes, where pagan faith was deeply rooted. But Patricio was not a simple preacher. He used his faith as a powerful tool to perform miracles that all perplexed. One of the most famous events was the miracle of the serpent. Legend has it that St. Patrick expelled all the snakes from Ireland. Although the country did not naturally have many snakes, the act became a symbol of the spiritual purification he brought to the island, driving evil and pagan spirits away. This miracle has been recorded in the popular imagination and, to this day, is one of the symbols most associated with the saint. In addition, Patricio performed miraculous healing where he went. In one of the villages, he healed a tribal chief who was on the brink of death after he promised to become Christianity if he was healed. After this event, the whole tribe followed its example, accepting the Christian faith. Patricio's reputation as a man of God grew so much that even the most resistant pagans began to doubt his ancient beliefs. However, it was not only through miracles that Patricio could conquer hearts. He had an incredible ability to adapt the Christian message to Irish culture. Instead of directly attacking local traditions, he reinterpreted them in the light of the Christian faith. An example of this was the way he used the sacred wells, which the Irish considered as places of spiritual power, and consecrated them to Christian holy. Thus many places previously dedicated to pagan rituals have become places of Christian prayer. Patricio's message was also always accompanied by deep compassion and humility. He never put himself above the people who tried to convert. On the contrary, he has always seen himself as a servant of God, dedicated to freeing the souls of the Irish from spiritual darkness. He made a point of walking alongside ordinary people, working tirelessly, sometimes under strong opposition and danger, but always with a smile on his face and a message of hope on his lips. Another fundamental factor for your success was your persistence. Many of us would be discouraged in the face of so much resistance and the dangers he faced. But Patricio saw each obstacle as an opportunity to strengthen his faith and mission. When he was rejected, he prayed even more. When he came across insurmountable challenges, he trusted God to open new paths. It was this unwavering determination that led him to convert so many tribal leaders and to gain respect for the entire nation. Want to know how he continued turning Ireland and the other miraculous feats that made him so venerated? Stay with me, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video so that more people can know this amazing story. The founding of the Church in Ireland, a spiritual revolution. With the advancement of his mission, St. Patrick realized that he needed an organized structure to ensure that the Christian faith was deeply rooted in Ireland. His goal was not only to convert the people, but to ensure that Christianity flourished for many generations. Thus he began to found churches and establish a solid foundation for the new faith. Patricio did not act alone. One of his greatest forces was his ability to form disciples. He trained and ordered new Irish priests, ensuring that the church had local leaders who knew culture and the people deeply. These priests, many of whom were previously pagan, became powerful agents of change, spreading the gospel in their communities and gaining respect for local tribes and kings. One of St. Patrick's great legacies was the founding of monasteries, which became teaching and spirituality centers. These monasteries were essential for the preservation of knowledge during the Middle Ages, making Ireland one of Europe's leading learning centers at that time. In a period of darkness to the continent, Irish monasteries flourished, illuminating the way with their spiritual and intellectual wisdom. In addition to their religious importance, these monasteries played a central role in Ireland's social and cultural life. They were refuges to the poor, the sick, and the marginalized, following Christ's teachings about the care of the most needy. Patricio believed that the church should be a lighthouse of charity and compassion, and these monasteries incorporated this vision. The creation of dioceses was another innovation brought by Patricio. He has established spiritual leadership centers in strategic cities such as Armagh, which became the heart of the church in Ireland. This allowed faith to be centralized and remain united despite the regional differences and the constant struggles between the tribes. Patricio knew that a divided church would not survive, so he worked tirelessly to unite his leaders under one vision and purpose. Interestingly, St. Patrick was also a defender of women's education. He encouraged the formation of female religious communities, which was uncommon for the time. Under their leadership, women played an important role in the church, founding convents and schools. This has helped create a more balanced and spiritually strong society. Despite all this progress, Patrick was not immune to opposition. Some tribal leaders, still linked to paganism, tried to break their mission, and he suffered several death threats. However, his determination was so strong that even in the face of these challenges, he continued to advance. His love for Ireland and his commitment to God's mission were greater than any danger. St. Patrick had achieved something few could imagine, not only converted a nation, but also established a Christian structure and culture that would endure for centuries. His view of a Christian Ireland was coming true, and the impact of his work would be felt far beyond his life. Are you enjoying this story of faith and transformation? There is still a lot more to come. Subscribe to the channel and share this video so that more people can know this epic journey of St. Patrick. The final challenges: patience, faith, and perseverance. In the final years of his mission, St. Patrick faced his biggest challenges. Although he had managed to establish a solid basis for Christianity in Ireland, there was still resistance in many areas. Some tribes were particularly stubborn, attached to pagan traditions. Patricio, however, never let herself down. He knew that true spiritual transformation required patience and time, and his unshakable faith guided him during these last years of evangelization. One of his greatest obstacles was the constant conflict between the tribes. The Ireland of the 5th century was a land fragmented by internal disputes and rivalries between clans. St. Patrick, besides being an evangelizer, had to assume the role of peacemaker on many occasions. He often intermediated negotiations between tribal leaders, promoting peace as an essential Christian value. The forgiveness, which he preached so much, began to be adopted by many local chiefs, which helped reduce conflicts in some regions. Another major challenge that Patricio faced was the resistance on the part of some Christian leaders who did not agree with their methods. They questioned their approach to Irish traditions and their concessions to local culture. Patrick, however, knew that the Christian faith needed to be presented in a way that the Irish could understand and accept without completely rejecting their traditions. His focus was always on people's hearts, and he believed that God worked on each in accordance with his cultural realities. It was during this period that he wrote his famous work Confession, a deep and personal text where Patrick expresses his struggles, his faith, and his mission. He openly shared his difficulties, his gratitude to God, and his view of how Christianity would transform Ireland. In this work, it is possible to feel its humility and its total confidence in divine providence, even in the face of so many challenges. For Patricio, his success did not come from his personal skills, but of the grace of God that strengthened him in every step of his mission. Even in the midst of adversities, miracles continued to happen. In a fascinating story, Patrick faced the powerful Druid Lacru, who tried to discredit him in public. In the midst of a heated discussion, the Druid was raised in the air by a mysterious force and thrown to the ground, resulting in his death. This event, although shocking, was interpreted as a sign of the divine power that accompanied Patrick, further strengthening his reputation and attracting new converts. St. Patrick's last years were marked by a deep sense of mission accomplished. Although he knew that there was still a lot of work to be done, he was aware that he had planted the seeds of a spiritual revolution that would transform Ireland forever. He continued to preach, to found churches, and to form new leaders until the end of his life. His legacy was already assured, but Patricio did not seek personal glory. In all his actions, he always directed the merits to God, recognizing that he was only an instrument in the grand divine work. His true desire was to see the Irish people transformed by the Christian faith and live in peace and harmony under the teachings of Jesus Christ. Are you eager to know how this inspiring journey of faith comes to your outcome? There are still more fascinating details to come. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends so that more people can know this amazing St. Patrick story. St. Patrick's legacy, an influence that echoes through the centuries. The story of St. Patrick does not end with his death. On the contrary, this is where its lasting legacy begins, which reverberates through the centuries to this day. His influence on Ireland was so deep that he became the patron saint of the country, and his history was passed from generation to generation, becoming a legend. The Feast of St. Patrick, celebrated on March 17th, is an example of the cultural and spiritual impact he has left, being celebrated not only in Ireland, but around the world. After his death, around the year 461, St. Patrick was remembered not only by the great deeds and miracles, but also for the humility and tireless dedication to the divine mission. His life inspired a generation of spiritual leaders who continued his work, leading Christianity with every corner of Ireland. Many of the disciples he formed have become influential figures, and Irish Christianity has become a great impact force throughout Europe. One of St. Patrick's most powerful legacies was the creation of an authentic Irish church, which, although in communion with Rome, maintained its own identity. The monasteries he helped establish became centers of learning and spirituality, where monks preserved and copied ancient manuscripts, not only from Christian texts, but also classic works of ancient times. For centuries, these monasteries kept alive the traditions of Christianity and classic knowledge, even during the darkest periods of medieval Europe. In addition, the São Patricio evangelization model has been studied and replicated in other parts of the world. His ability to adapt the Christian message to local culture without compromising the fundamental values of faith has become an example for missionaries around the world. He showed that the true evangelizer is one who respects the people and their culture, bringing faith as a complement and not an imposition. Another fundamental aspect of his legacy was the pacification of a land previously divided by tribal wars. Through his preaching of love, forgiveness, and unity, St. Patrick helped create a more peaceful Ireland. Although tribal conflicts continued to exist, the Christian message of fraternity began to permeate Irish society, shaping a new national identity rooted in the Christian faith. Interestingly, St. Patrick's influence went beyond Ireland's borders. Irish missionaries who followed Patrick's footsteps, such as Street Columba and St. Columbano, brought Christianity to Scotland, England, and even to regions of the European continent, such as France and Italy. Ireland, which was once a pagan and isolated land, became a spiritual and cultural power that helped shape Christianity throughout Western Europe. However, St. Patricio's most lasting legacy is undoubtedly spiritual. He taught the Irish people the value of faith, prayer, and trust in God, especially in times of difficulty. Your life and example continue to inspire millions of people around the world who see a model of courage, humility, and determination in it. Even today, Many people around the world celebrate St. Patrick not only as the patron saint of Ireland, but as a universal symbol of faith and resilience. Its history reminds us that with faith and courage we can overcome the greatest challenges and make great transformations in our lives and society. Now that you have met the whole trajectory of St. Patrick, how about sharing this story with your friends? Subscribe to the channel and help bring this message of faith and inspiration to even more people.